you think really cares if you come back tomorrow? Who do you think really cares if you're in that store, or if you're in that region, or if you're in the corporate office, or you're in the distribution center, or you're out on the road doing what you do? Who does it really matter to? I mean, does it matter to some of the customers, some of the guests that come into your store? Because you make such a huge difference in your store, they would notice if you're not there. Would your guests care if you weren't there? Would some of your team members feel a difference if you weren't the one who was leading them? Would some of your vendors even think about the fact that you're not the one who's on the other end of the phone, or you're not the one who they're having to sign off with, or you're not the one that they're negotiating with? Because you're fair, even if you're tough. Would your boss care if you came back tomorrow night? If you came in with a letter of resignation because you won the lottery and you weren't going to have to come back again, would your boss care? Not because they've got an empty seat to fill, but because you'd be so hard to replace. I mean, I just want you to think about who really cares if you come back tomorrow.
Have you ever thought about who really cares if you and your team do what you do? When you think about it, coworkers, customers, competitors, even vendors are influenced by your team members every single day, and they're constantly trying to decide whether they want to keep doing business with you or not. I appreciate you taking a minute to watch this and to kind of catch a glimpse of who I am and what I do. I'm Randy Anderson, co-founder of E3 Professional Trainers. Since founding E3 in 2005, I've had the opportunity to work with businesses of all shapes and sizes and in almost every industry. I provide customized training, keynote presentations, and personal coaching to help people become more productive and to help the companies that they work for to be more profitable. At the same time, I want to show people how they can develop greater influence in life, regardless of their position or title.
We kind of kept talking a little bit, and then I started to get the impression he was fixing to say no to me. And then I really hit the salesman button, and I panicked. And I thought, if he's going to say no, I'm at least going to go out of this trying. And so we talk a little bit further, and tell me this doesn't sound like the worst used car salesman that you have ever had. What's it going to take to get you in this car today? Can we get you in this car today? Tell me this doesn't sound like this. I said, is there something specific that's keeping you from feeling like you can say yes to me tonight? And he said, well, Randy, I guess I knew y'all were serious, but I just didn't know you were in this much of a hurry. And I said, hang on just a second. You think I want to marry her Saturday night? I just want to ask her to marry me Saturday night. Oh, Randy, that'd be fine. We would love to have you as a son-in-law. And he still laughs about how fast I went. Okay, thank you very much, bye. And I hung up on him. I had been as plain as day. I want to ask your daughter to marry me Saturday night. What did he hear? Marry your daughter Saturday night, right?
I don't think you're losing huge chunks of time during the course of the day. I think you're losing drops at a time. And I think that's what makes it so hard to get better, is you've already fixed all the big, easy, stupid stuff. My little 7-year-old would say, ooh, Dad said the S word. It's easy to fix the big, stupid stuff. It's hard to fix the little places we're losing time. How many of you would say that it is fair to say our problems with time management, personal productivity come from either someone else, technology, or ourselves? Raise your hand. I got bad news. None of the three of them are going away. I know it's hard to try to pick who you're going to utilize to train your team or motivate an audience just by watching a bunch of videos. It's a little bit like going to a movie and hoping that all the best parts weren't in the trailer. So let me give you a few more things to think about as you consider whether I may be a good fit for your team or your event. I have 3 goals when I'm in front of an audience. First one is I want to engage them. I want to get them to really like what they do, to really care about what they're doing, to care about the results that they produce. Whether I do that through a motivational, inspirational presentation or one of my sessions where I guide people through self-evaluation and personal planning, I really want them to see how what they do matters. Getting them to care is step number 1. Number 2, I want to better equip them to do their job better. Whether we're doing time management and organization training or conflict resolution and communication, I want to show them how they can get more done without working more hours, how they can provide outstanding customer service, both internally and externally, and more importantly, how they can pursue and reflect excellence for all the people in their life. And there's a lot of ways they can do that, but it starts with giving them the right tools and equipment. And goal number 3, I want them to leave feeling empowered. I want them to realize that what they do matters and that they want to do their very best at it for themselves and for their team. I want them to realize that they're building their life's legacy by the way that they do their job and by the way that they influence and interact with other people. I don't convey that my way is the only way. In fact, I don't even believe that. I try to give people tools that will help them to be more productive, ideas that will help them to feel like they're accomplishing more and to experience fulfillment in their life. But I want them to be able to do it in a way that uses their strengths and reflects their personality.
How many drill bits do you think were sold in America last year? 5 million. Out of those 5 million drill bits, how many of those people do you think took that drill bit, went home and said, put it up in a frame on their wall in the living room and said, man, y'all got to come over Friday night and see my new drill bit. I finally got the last drill bit in the collection. Y'all come over, we're going to have dinner and you're going to look at my drill bit. How many of them wanted a drill bit? How many of them wanted a drill bit of those 5 million? That was their end result they were looking for?
No.
What were they looking for? What was the finished product of a drill bit? They want a hole. People are selling drill bits all the time in our society when they ought to be selling holes. If you're selling drill bits, they're worth $2.50 or whatever they cost. But if I'm selling the hole, and that hole is going to go on the living room wall to hang a picture of my family on the last cruise when the family went on vacation right before so-and-so went off to college, or the last family reunion before grandpa died, every time I walk past that picture, it's worth more than $2.50. Would you agree with that? If I get a phone call and the lawyer says, listen, you know that treasure chest that was in your great uncle's attic back that y'all used to play with all the time and it had, Civil War weapons and all that different stuff from what time your great-great-grandparents and everything? Well, in the will, he actually left that to you, but nobody can find a key to it. So you're going to have to get a drill and drill the lock on that to get into it. It's worth more than $2.50. Would you agree? I mean, if you got coal miners trapped a half-mile below ground and they're going to suffocate within 48 hours if we don't get oxygen down to them, it doesn't matter if that drilling rig cost $500,000. It's worth more than that if you're selling the whole. And what happens is a lot of times we're just telling information instead of selling an idea. You got to become a seller of ideas if you're going to really become a great communicator.
Could your team and organization benefit from your people being more engaged in their work, being better equipped to do their job, and feeling empowered to live life like it matters and like what they're doing at work really does make a difference? I appreciate you watching this today. I hope it's given you an opportunity to kind of catch a glimpse of my style and my effectiveness. I'd love to talk with you about your team's goals, your challenges, and your strategy for helping your people grow and develop over the coming year. So please feel free to reach out. Thanks very much.
How committed are you to personal excellence? I mean, if you think about it, if every single person in the court system today work just as hard at their job as you do at yours, how good a system would that be? If every single day you had to line up outside of your boss's office to see if you got to come back tomorrow based on what you did today, you think it might change how hard some people work at their job? Absolutely. But we get lulled into all the changes. We get lulled into all the budget cuts. We get lulled into running faster than the person next to us, or I can't be as fast as the person on the other side. And we miss the mark of what's our best. And I want you to think about, is tomorrow an opportunity for you to do what you do well, for you to leave a mark of excellence and put a footprint in the lives of people, whether they're defendants or whether they're coworkers or whether they're attorneys or whether they're judges or whether they're the general public, the taxpayers who have prepaid for you? Or is it just one step closer to retirement? The footprint you leave is going to be dependent on the life that you live.